Hello everyone and welcome to the introduction to the Pleasant Valley Fences map. Today I want to drive around the map and give you an idea of what went into making Pleasant Valley Fences, how it's intended to be played, all the different features we put into it, and just exactly what it is to give you a better idea. Pleasant Valley Fences is quite simply a version of my Pleasant Valley 3 map that was designed specifically for multiplayer server play. It has been taken the original map and we divided it up into 15 different farms. Each has its own color to show which fields each farm owns on the map. And each person's farm is surrounded by their own color fence. You will be starting with very minimal equipment. Each player has a similar set of equipment depending on what their role is meant to be played on the map. For instance, here we do have the sheep farm, and it does contain a wool pallet collector, and pretty much that's about it. And why is the farm so empty? Because our goal was for each player, as they're playing on the Pleasant Valley Fences, to be able to create their own little special piece of the world, show their design style, and just not be confounded to what I have already put into the map, but let you design your own lots and your own farm the way you want it to be. We did provide a very large placeable objects pack that includes slabs for making your own roads. As you will see, we have lots of objects for decorating, especially a lot of barns and some houses. Just a ton of decorative items to create your own farms, make them all unique and individual. As well as one of the most important features that we have on this map, as I get through down here, is your placeable silos. As you're creating your farms, you create which crops you want to store on your property by using the placeable silos. Each placeable silo holds the same capacity of 1 million of the crop, and you can buy as many as you want, but they are quite expensive. Here we are back at the farm. And until you have your own silos, all the extra crop has to go to the light blue farm, which is currently named the Milton Trucking Company. Most of the landscape around the immediate building area is flat for all the farms, so that almost any placeable mod that you can find can be used on farms. We do supply quite an extensive collection of good ones that we've found and other ones that we've made. Alright, so that's a little bit of explaining about the farms themselves. Now, that's a lot of explaining about having your individual abilities on the map, but we have to keep in mind that this is a multiplayer map. We don't want to segregate people from each other. We want to provide tools for you to work together and to achieve goals. So, we did exactly that. Now this is what's going to set this map apart from any other regular map that people play in multiplayer mode. This map here, you have to work together in order to survive. There is no more access to fuel, access to seed, or access to fertilizer unless you create it yourself. And as we go down the road here past a few of these new features, I will explain them a little bit later. I am going to show you the fuel creation process. When you start out the game, it is imperative that you start making your own fuel, because if you don't, you will run out. And it does take 3 different crops to create your fuel. And fuel is created right here by dropping off your corn or maize, sorghum, and sugar cane into the 3 appropriate spots. And as it's mixed, you can pick it up right here to be delivered to each of the farms. We start you out very simply with the ability to maneuver your fuel in the little yellow placeable tankers that hold 1,000 liters each. These tanks can be delivered to each of the farms. There are 15 there as you fill them up. And that is just your first step. 1,000 liters is not a lot, but it does get you going and gives you your supply of fuel, and you're going to have to keep growing those crops in order to get your fuel supply to keep the map going. 3 of the farms are started already, 1 with sugarcane, 1 with sorghum, and 1 with the maize. And those 3 farms, it is imperative when you start the game that they use their already grown crops to make fuel, or you will run out before your next harvest. In addition to the factory for fuel, there are factories for making your fertilizer and your seed. In addition to those plants, we have some extra ones that require work, like the Black Cap Bird Seed Company here. You can put millet, sunflower, and maize into the Black Cap Bird Seed Company, and it makes bird seed. Bird seed is a premium item that actually will sell at a couple of the stores around the valley for an extra price. It's worth the time and effort because you will need to make these premium products to survive. The Pleasant Valley Fences map is intended to be played on hard mode for a slower progression, so you're not all just reaching the end game and all have the best equipment, and that you really do have to sometimes pool your resources in order to accomplish certain tasks. That trigger is to unlock that building. You go up to it, it simply pops up the menu, tells you, and with the C key we can buy this property. Boom. That red disc, unfortunately I cannot figure out how to operate it, but it does go away after a server restart. So if your server is automatically on restart, it will go away and the next time it starts back up. But now you have access to the car wash. There are very many of those objects around the map to make it, as you can see, extra fuel storage facility around the map that you can buy to make it easier for you to store fuel at different locations around the map and easier access, as well as there's one on each person's farm that has to be bought down the road when you save up enough money and you want to get out of those little delivery tanks. Here we are at the Heartland Bread Company, one of the new premium buildings that creates a new output product called bread. Very simple. The Heartland Bread Company takes wheat, oat, and rye and converts it into bread. These little things with the flashing light on the top, the little control boxes, actually, if you walk up to them, it will tell you how much of each product is in it, as well as a ticker will come across the top of the screen when one of them empties out, or if the machine gets full and you need to remove the bread. Here's another one of the premium product companies. It is the Popcorn Sutton's White Whiskey, delivering sugarcane, maize, and water, and you can create whiskey at the Sutton's mill there. Another feature built into the map, as we're heading to the next place that I wanted to explain, is the PDA. It has prices listed in yellow. The map is intended to be run on hard mode, and we do not allow people to sell product unless it reaches a reasonable price. So what we have done is indicated higher prices in yellow, which allows people to sell the product. It kind of gives people, if you're growing something, you might not be able to sell it. You might have to bring it to Milton Trucking and store it, or you might have to choose something that needs to really be grown to get a profit, because as you sell off one product, another product, all the other products will go up in value, and that product will drastically go down in value, so it'll be a while before you can sell it again. In addition to that, behind the scenes, we have a random price multiplier that will randomize the values at each location on every given hour, so that you're not always selling to, say, one location the same product, because it has the standard built-in multiplier. Any place on the map can be at any price at any given time. Also built into the map, in one of the mods that we include with it, is a customized version of the vehicle group switcher, which does have groups for all 15 color farms. So you can assign your vehicles to each farm, and the admins can assign them, and it makes it easier for someone to jump into their farm right as they come into the server, or get back to it. Or if, say, somebody on the yellow farm needs help, you can hit the hotkey for the yellow farm, and boom, you're there on one of his vehicles to give him help. Also on the farms, each farm has been created with a specific, we'll say, extra job function that only pertains to that farm, so that the farms are again forced to work together rather than they still are their own separate properties. They do have to work together to achieve certain things. For instance, the teal farm down here in the corner has lamb breeding buildings. Lambs are bred in the 2 buildings. As you can see, there's lots of animals on this map, 10 actually in total. I will show you. You can buy animals. You have your standard cows, sheep, and chicken farms, and we have pig farms, beef farms, lamb farms, chickens, calves, bulls, and piglets, each on a different farm. This is the lamb farm. Lambs, after they're bred, can be sold off at the sheep farm for additional cash. They are not added to the sheep farm inventory. It's just a delivery mechanism to turn land. That teal farm has its own breeding facilities and can turn them into cash. Here is one of the free garages that's open at the beginning of the game. There's 3 open at the beginning of the game, and you just simply pull in with your car, and you'll see the damage mod up in the top right corner there. My damage is back to 0.